or with the massive use of artificial intelligence, the technological world is changing. Genexus, as always, is evolving. And next, we will talk about how we will be creating mission-critical software with Genexus and also what kind of software we will now be able to develop. We will introduce the new Genexus that we call Genexus Next. The mission of Genexus remains the same as it was more than 35 years ago: to simplify software development and automate everything that can be automated. And the most important thing is that in this new era, the mission remains as valid as the first day. With artificial intelligence, there are changes in how we are going to develop software and also in what kind of software we are going to be able to develop. The unique approach that Genexus has always had is that it allows us to describe reality and model the software. The model is stored in a knowledge base. From it, Genexus generates the source code automatically using symbolic artificial intelligence in a deterministic way, i.e., from the same model it always generates the source code. The same code is always generated from the same model. Thus, the model contains the business reality, the intentions, which are much more stable and less prone to change than the code and technology of the system. In this era, Genexus' approach with Genexus Next evolved and improved. To create critical applications, Genexus users now benefit from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence agents help the development team model software, which helps them throughout the application development lifecycle. The applications that are now modeled have also evolved and improved, taking advantage of artificial intelligence to assist their users. Business processes are also assisted or even automated, partially or totally, by artificial intelligence agents. Next, we will delve into the how and the what. But before we start, let me make this clear. What really makes Genexus Next special is its ability to understand aspects of your business and store that reality in a knowledge base. This differentiates it from other tools and enables future-proofing by allowing it to evolve. Future-proof means that from the model that is generated today for .NET 8, after the release of the .NET 10, you simply regenerate the project with .NET 10 from the same model. Whenever there is a technological change on the horizon, the Genexus team studies the trends that are positioned as definitive and incorporates them. So there is no need to continually learn everything new. Genexus includes it and simplifies access for us. That's why it's future-proof. Thanks to that strategy, companies using Genexus can reinvent themselves and the assets they generate with Genexus can evolve and always be technologically up to date. The Genexus edition for this era is Genexus Next. Genexus Next is the first native agentic low-code platform for the enterprise. That allows us to build a new system from scratch, helping in the whole development cycle with different tools. It allows us to model, develop, and generate mission-critical systems and business processes, driven by agentic artificial intelligence that preserves and leverages the organization's knowledge. We say that the systems we develop are mission critical because we can develop solutions for companies where data really matters, and where if the system goes down, the company's operations go down. With Genexus Next, we will be able to define and model systems and solutions from start to finish. With artificial intelligence assistants and agents, design, integrate and implement mission-critical applications, as well as artificial intelligence agents that learn, collaborate with people, and execute tasks and workflows autonomously across the organization. Genexus Next is the new iteration of Genexus, combined with global enterprise AI, to build intelligent enterprise systems and next-generation experiences without writing code, without losing control of your data or relying on black box artificial intelligence. With Genexus Next, you have access to a complete platform. Genexus Next Start, a web application for prototyping new ideas from natural language. Genexus Next Design Assistant, a Figma plugin for UI designers with agents that create designs. Genexus Next Design Prototyper, a Figma plugin for UI designers to see their designs in action. Genexus Next Nextdoor, the new Genexus IDE and the most important component for developers. Global Enterprise AI, the foundation for leveraging artificial intelligence that allows us to connect the different LLMs. Next, we will focus on Genexus Next Desktop. Genexus Next Desktop is the most important component of Genexus Next and the evolution of Genexus 18 for this era. It is a new Genexus that allows you to work locally like Genexus 18, but the novelty is that it is cross-platform. It is a new IDE, a modern cross-platform development environment with improved performance and a dark mode design, ideal for today's developers. The front-end uses web technology, the back-end uses .NET 8 technology and runs on Mac, Linux and Windows. Everything works on these platforms, including the Prolog used when Genexus generates the solution. It is 64-bit compatible, Unicode, and any hardware architecture. In addition, the IDE can be viewed in different languages, such as English and Japanese. For each platform, there is a native application that installs and runs. Here is a screenshot of Genexus Next on Mac. Starting the engine. Let's talk a bit about its architecture. It is a native application built with the same technology as Visual Studio Code. The native application contains the user interface and connects to a Docker engine with the Genexus core. The complete diagram is shown here. The application connects to a Docker container that hosts the business logic, code generators, and basic runtime environments for local prototyping. That container also connects to the SQL server that hosts the knowledge-based database. And it also connects to another container with pgvector for prototyping with PostgreSQL. A container with the Android SDK is also provided. The setup of Genexus Next is very simple. You only need the Docker engine. The rest is included and everything works locally. Of course, it also allows connection to other host or network resources. The second feature is that its user interface has been completely redesigned. Its technology has also changed. It is now web-based. Another new feature is that Genexus Next now allows us to program by writing in the source of an object. It has text editors for experienced developers to get more productivity. And it also has other editors, such as structure editors, so that new developers can learn more easily. And it has artificial intelligence assistants that help the developer with various tasks, from modeling to understanding the knowledge base. Shown here are agents that help model an application. First, the source text editor is shown. Here we see the product transaction. And then we see the structure editor with the transaction attributes. We also see the web layout, the rules, and the events. Now we see how we can use the artificial intelligence assistant Nexa to create an entity to register the countries. We see that the Genexus architect answered us and created the country transaction with attributes for the ID and the name. Let's ask him to add an attribute to register the flag of the country. And we see that he added it. Now let's ask it to enter an API to the business logic, with all the objects needed to update the name of a product and to return the name of a product. The wizard is analyzing our request. And is creating objects as it processes it. We can see that the wizard has created an update product name and another get product name. And it also created an API object called product API, which exposes the two procedures. Finally, we are going to ask it to add annotations REST method and REST path for the invoked methods. And we see that it added this to the API object. Here we could see how several agents interact with each other. There is an architect agent, which is the one we talked to, and then this agent communicates with several specialized agents to solve the different parts of the problem that we pose. In this example, the architect dialogued with an agent specialized in creating API objects, which in turn dialogued with agents specialized in creating procedural objects. In this way, interactions are chained and complex problems can be solved. If the architect does not offer us the solution to solve something, we could create our own agent specialized in what we need and make the other Genexus Next agents know that it exists. Agents know it exists and interact with it. We can do this because Genexus Next is extensible. We will come back to this later. Now let's see how we can create agentic applications. That is, applications that use artificial intelligence agents to solve problems and facilitate development. Now with Genexus Next, we can model new concepts in the knowledge base. Thanks to artificial intelligence, we can search, generate content, reason, and manage data in a way that was not possible before. In other words, we are modeling more things than before. The more knowledge we can model, the better solutions Genexus will generate. In other words, the better you describe your business to Genexus Next in a knowledge base, the more and better inferences the code generators will be able to make. Now we will look at how to model new user experiences powered by artificial intelligence. These are the new features for creating applications that leverage artificial intelligence. The agent object, chat interfaces, agent processes, and embedding data types. Let's introduce them one by one. Let's think about the scenario of an online store. Let's start with something very simple. Let's think about the producer who has to register the products. It would be desirable that he does not have to write so much. For example, the product description should be generated automatically and the categorization should also be automatic. Note that both are functions. Given a text, give me an expanded text, and given a text and a list of categories, tell me which category it corresponds to. The point is that these functions did not exist before this era. They were difficult to implement. This is now achieved with intelligent agents. They assist and generate content. Now, in Genexus Next, you can create a new type of object called agent object, which will dialogue with LLMs, the large language models. The agent object has its input and output, a message with instructions, and a context on which to act, and it can even call APIs from my system to resolve situations. It is possible to create a special function that generates content on its own. For example, this agent that creates a long text from a short text. And once the agent object is defined, it can be invoked like any other object in Genexus. Let's now use an agent that automatically assigns the correct category to a given product. This agent assigns the correct category given the product description and a list of categories. Obviously, the agent cannot freely invent a category to assign to the product, but has to desubscribe to the categories I have in my system. For this reason, I must give the agent a context, i.e., information on which he can base his decision. Let's look at the context rule that calls a data provider called getCategoryCollection. This is a data provider that goes through the category table and returns me that data that will be used by the agent. This is a fun example that shows how agents can be nested. There is an agent that is a fan of Leo Messi. And then there is another agent who is a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. And finally, an agent reporter who asks the fans who they think is the best, and then gives his own opinion about it. This shows us how it is possible for an agent to interact with others to complete a job. Artificial intelligence can also be used in a business process where tasks are executed and decisions are made. For example, there may be a normal workflow process that governs our e-commerce example. The process may include some step to validate it uploaded. This validation could be performed by an artificial intelligence agent. Therefore, GexFlow in Genexus Next allows an agent to perform a task or make a decision at a fork. Continuing with our e-commerce example, a consumer buying a product might want to chat with the system to find out when the product will arrive. To create this user experience, Genexus Next includes a new chat user interface control. The chat user control connects to an agent object that provides the interactivity based on artificial intelligence applied to the business rules. In addition, in this era, users are used to search using natural language. For this, Genexus has a semantic search. A new data type called embedding data type is now available. In this example, a new database field is defined, product embedding, of the embedding data type. And a rule is defined in the product transaction, so that product embedding contains a multidimensional vector representing the database record. Then, the user can search for concepts using natural language. The words to be searched need not exist in the database. In other words, you no longer have to search by equals or like. The for each, which is displayed on the screen, displays the most similar records first. Note the distance method used for this. And this query returns a datum that, in some of the multiple dimensions of the distance vector, is the one that is closest. In the example, wanted to find a shoe to run a marathon, and it brought me a running shoe suitable for running. Although in the description of the shoe, it doesn't specifically say marathon. That is, he brings me the closest thing to what I want. This is something that was very difficult to do in Genexus or in any tool. But now with artificial intelligence, we can do it. So, the user interface, the business logic, and also the data layer evolve in this. And the most remarkable thing is that an automatic connection with LLMs is provided. So, there is a new feature. Applications are automatically integrated with Global Enterprise AI. Global Enterprise AI is an enterprise platform designed to facilitate the deployment of artificial intelligence assistants and acts as a bridge between different generative AI models, LLMs, and the world of business applications in a secure and controlled environment. Genexus and Global Enterprise AI leverage each other. This video shows the agents defined in Genexus, impacted in global enterprise AI, and how Genexus connects to global enterprise AI. If we open the transaction product, we can observe the rules that invoke the agent object, product describer, and category matcher. We see how the product describer agent is implemented, which returns a detailed description of a product from the product name, and the category matcher that assigns a category to the product. If we go to build, we can see that we can impact the agents. If we now go to Tools, Enterprise AI, and choose the lab, we see that a Global Enterprise AI window opens. The Agents dashboard, where we can see the agents that we created in our KB, impacted here by Genexus Next. We can even edit and enhance them from here. If we go back to Genexus Next desktop, we see that we can also access other parts of Global Enterprise AI, such as the console and the playground. The generated application contains functionality that connects to the Global Enterprise AI API. The agents defined in Genexus are integrated into Global Enterprise AI so that the application can call them. Now with Genexus, we can use natural language to develop, and on the other hand, the generated application will also have better productivity and usability to its users, since artificial intelligence is used. Last but not least, another feature to mention about Genexus Next is that it is extensible. The user interface is extensible, the business logic is extensible, and the AI wizards are extensible as well. Therefore, customers and partners can customize them and extend them. To ensure this, an SDK is provided with sample code that allows Genexus Next to be extended. Genexus Next is already a reality and is the answer to this new era of software development. Genexus Next can be used to explore knowledge bases using natural language, use artificial intelligence assistants to suggest improvements to the knowledge base, develop agentic backends in .NET and Java, develop client-facing web applications in Angular, develop native mobile applications, super applications and mini applications in iOS and Android, develop back-office and agentic workflows. And our partners also have their patterns and extensions available in beta version. We invite you to download the new Genexus Next.